Shalom. Hello, Janice. How are you? Nice to see you. Hello, Shabbat Shalom. Good, nice to see you. All right. The Harrisons are here. How are you doing?
Okay,
Yeah, it's vacation.
we were supposed to be away this Thursday again as we speak,
Happened.
attending a wedding in Colorado. Adrian got, her several times a year respiratory situation.
I need my book too.
Had to be around the 7,500 feet. Not going to be in the pod, but we can do it as we talk.
That's funny news, Adrian, because I'm taking baby prednisone right now. So, yeah,
So far, we managed to avoid it this time around.
good.
Okay,
All right.
looking forward to
Think,
this as
think
always.
good thoughts. We have Megan.
It is Labor Day weekend. You're not here Wednesday.
That's not terrible for Labor Day. Could be worse. All right. All
What
right.
time is it? We're ready.
Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Let's shall.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Shabbat Shov Team. We welcome those that are here sitting with us. Thank you for spending your Labor Day weekend. And we also welcome those who are watching from home. This is the perfect portion for our thoughts this week about justice and fairness, right? I mean, everyone in this room is either an attorney or married to an attorney or a child or a spouse of an attorney. And justice and fairness seems to be a good topic this week. You may have also noticed the slight change in weather. We are in day 6 of the month of Elul. It's our time for introspection. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur does not burst in upon us. We have this bridge between the long, hot, lazy days of summer and the cool, crisp, color-filled days of fall. And Elul provides that spiritual bridge to move us from reflection to renewal. Allow me to share these words from Chaim Stern's Day by Day, written especially for this day and this portion. He writes, "In all the temptations of the day, O God, help me to be true to my better self. Keep me from deception of others, from self-deception, from condemning others while justifying myself." And then these words, "From calling evil good and good evil. Cleanse me of all within me that is false. I know this is a labor of life, not something I will do one day today, but I hope today helps me to do what I can do today." And then he goes on teaching in the name of Jonah ben Abraham. "There are people in whose presence you would be ashamed to do something dishonorable or say something improper. Keep in mind then that you are always in the presence of the Holy One, and we conduct ourselves accordingly." And with that, we ask that you join us in prayer and song. Join us in opening your hearts and stepping inside the gate with us towards forgiveness. Turn to page 120 as Jillian and Remy and Sylvie and perhaps some of their friends will light the Shabbos candles. Hey, Judy and Steve, Shabbat Shalom. Sylvie, you coming? You want to bring Greta? Can leave the lollipop if you want. Okay, you ready? They don't always strike, babe.
Amen.
Thank you, ladies.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Join us for L'cha Dodi on page 138. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Please turn to page 123. Please turn to page 123.
Actually, we had a slight change. We're going to be singing Shir Hadash, which is on page 131. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir hadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir hadash. Sing unto
Join us for Lecha Dodi on page 138. Imagine the Kabbalist dressed in white, walking towards the sunset to welcome the Shekhinah. As is our custom, learning from the Kabbalist, we turn and face the rear of our sanctuary at the last verse to welcome our Shabbat bride. Join us in singing verses 1, 2, 8, and 9. And before returning, take a moment to welcome each other, knowing you are so happy that you are here.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala,
B'nei Shabbat
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Shalom v'zachor v'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el hamilhad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, L'shem tiferet v'tila lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala,
B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Dodi,
Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, savma'aseh ma'aseh lecha Dodi.
Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela. Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela.
Yaminu smol tiforotzi, ve'et Adonai taritzi, al yadish ben partzi, v'nismeka v'nagila lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela.
Ateret bala, gam besimcha u'b'tzola, togemune
Am Segula, Boikala, Boikala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Kabela.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, we had a minyan.
Thank God. go to Barhu? Oh, if they want to come up, they can come up. Okay, please remain standing. As we begin our call to prayer, the Barhu, and remain standing, please, through the Shema.
Adonai HaMevorah, Baruch Adonai HaMevorah, Le'olam Voed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorah, Le'olam Voed.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod,
Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch
Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
And now you saw what is known as sign language in the speaking of 4-year-olds. That's sign language. Please be seated,
You have to.
and we turn to page 268.
268.
268.
ואהבת את
את
אדוני
אדוני
אלוהיך
בכל
בכל
לבבך
לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדבורים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וקשרתם על מזיזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hoseti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Met. Please turn to the bottom of page 269 and please read with me responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come? Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
Page 270.
Elohim Adonai, Michamocha, Neder Bakodesh, Nora, Tehilot, Ohose, Feleh, Tehilot, Ohose, Feleh. Yimloch, Leolam, Voed, Leolam,
Ugalomi atazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai,
Shemo.
Ka'al Yisrael.
Amen. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, Habashecha Shalom Oleinu, V'al Kol Amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim.
Please rise for tefillah on page 273. We promised to turn to our left.
Baruch atah
Please be seated. We take a moment now for silent meditation. Join me together in reading on the bottom of page 278.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
Take a few moments for silent meditation. Take a look at the prayers on page 277 through 285, or listen to the small voice within, hearing the words of your own heart. We'll return together on 285. Our portion this week begins with Moses' grand declaration. You shall appoint judges and officials for your tribes. And he continues, let them govern the people with justice. Do not judge them unfairly, show no partiality, take no bribes, for bribes blind the eye of the discerning and subvert the cause of justice. Justice must be accessible and impartial. Moses then instructs which procedures must be followed for idolatry and designs a Supreme Court to deal with the really hard issues. Warnings are issued against witchcraft and against false prophets. Cities of refuge are described, and conspiring witnesses who testify falsely are to be punished. Seems pretty timely to me. Jewish tradition teaches that there are no unnecessary words in Torah. This week's portion contains a very famous phrase, probably standing on the wall, hung on the wall of so many when they graduate law school. And it says, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof. If a word appears twice, as it does in this week's portion, there is a reason. Justice, justice shall you pursue. It urges us to seek justice, doubling the word, making it not merely a suggestion, but an imperative. As Jews, we are commanded to strive to establish a just society with equal balances and measures, rights, and protections. It is not a choice. Ibn Ezra writes, we should pursue justice, whether it is for your personal gain or your personal loss. The repetition also denotes time after time, all the days of our lives. How timely a portion it is this week, hearing for the call of justice and social fairness. Our search for justice and fairness is embedded in our Teshuvah turn. Most people think of Teshuvah as forgiveness right before Yom Kippur, but it is indeed a returning that requires both inward and outward action. It is suggested that justice is the outward action, something we work on towards others so that we can all live safely and humanely and coexist in our communities and our world. But the goal of righteousness is a virtue that comes from within and reflects a lot of the Musar character traits, reflecting integrity, morality, honesty, compassion, humility. And at times when justice seems to be beyond reach, we choose to become Sadiq. We choose justice. As we enter the month of Elul, a time of preparation for the high holidays, we must look inward and really question, have we judged ourselves fairly this year? It's been a pretty difficult year for many people. We must look outward to seek new ways to integrate our aspirations for personal growth and our obligations to those people we love, our community, and in fact, the world. And then, after finally making peace with ourselves and those around us, we can look upward and seek to repair our relationship with the eternal. We cannot ask God to treat us justly until we have taken a fair accounting here on earth. Elul connects the past year with the coming year, a time when we reflect on where we stand and where we should be going. It's called the month of repentance, the month of mercy, the month of forgiveness, and it is indeed the month of returning. It is that spiritual bridge we walk on as we make our teshuvah turn, judging ourselves fairly, seeking forgiveness from those we have wronged or whom we have otherwise missed our mark in our interactions and our behaviors. Several customs during the month of Elul are designed to help us with this turn. Traditionally, we read Psalm 27 daily. The Lord is my light and my help, whom shall I fear? Join us on September 17th for Slichot. It's a wonderful, wonderful service. Elul is also the time of year which Jews traditionally visit the graves of loved ones. It's a time when we open our own sanctuary to visit our wall of memory. This custom not only reminds us of the individuals on whose shoulders we now stand and helps us honor their memories, but it also prompts us to think about our own lives and the legacies we leave to others. Have we spoken kind words? Have we offered comfort? Have we given love and accepted and received love? And among my favorites, and if we were a traditional congregation, we would blow the shofar each day from the Rosh Chodesh of Elul until the day before Rosh Hashanah. And in preparation to hear us blow shofar tonight, praying that the sound awakens our soul and kickstarts our spiritual accounting, I'm going to try to get through and share an excerpt of a longer poem by Dane Cutler, a contemporary poet from Massachusetts. Wish me luck, Andy. The poem is called "The Shofar Breaks Your Heart." When you give a girl a shofar, a rough cut horn with no real mouthpiece that her aunt or granny brings back from a trip to Jerusalem, don't make that gift easy. Put it on the shelf high in the living room, where its curled promise of a shout will tempt her until she can pull the chair and reach it on tippy toe. Tell her that no one has ever found its voice and that she could probably only make it grunt or sputter. Then give her a few years, an empty garage, a neighborhood, hopefully Jewish enough to understand what they may be hearing, so she can practice until tiny bursts come from the scrap of RAM. She will be the only one that will ever shape its sounds, that can bend to the call of Tekiah, round off those 9 notes, and fling the cry of Shivarim from its mouth, and let her brag about it. Remember that children are not humble creatures. The act of simply being heard is a great triumph. Let her be heard. Let her bring it to Hebrew school. Teach her the story about the rabbi who told his students that he would give them the words of Torah, but that the words would only enter when she found a way to break her heart. Let that sit with her for as long as it takes for Torah and poetry and forgiveness to find their way inside. And then play her Leonard Cohen. Let her hear about the cracks in everything, and that's how the light gets in. And let her begin searching for light. Ask her where she thinks the cracks come from, and then talk about Auschwitz. Tell her about your mother's pogrom. Talk about quotas and blacklists and voting rights. Give her Avinu Malkeinu, Ashanu, Ashamnu, Ashamnu, and watch her try to break her heart with her fist. Then give her the shofar. Let the horn steal her breath. Let her begin to understand that she's not holding an old piece of animal, but it's a living prayer. Teach her after every blast that you can hear the echo of the still small voice. And when it's over, close your eyes. Be broken here before God and your people. Be, feel the light, and let the words come in. And Mark and I gave this girl a shofar. So Remy, take your time. Please stand and join in our collective call to Teshuvah. Okay.
Tekiah Gedolah.
Thank you, honey. That's what happens when you give a girl a shofar. May this be the year when we hear the call to justice, feel the collective cracks where we are broken, work together to allow the light and the words to come in. May this be God's will. May it be so. And together let us say, Amen. Okay. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Remy.
Okay, where are we? Okay, it's me. Awake and connected, our thoughts turn to those in need of healing, of body or spirit. Please rise again if you are able. And you're going to do the first verse.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We prayed this week on behalf of
Paul Millman, Nancy Handley, Marlo Wiggins, Dick Stone, Harriet Lipton, Hannah Stampleman, Enid Elton, Jody Kahn, Stanley Tereski, Bob Glassman, Andy Rosenthal, Sandy Warshaw, Louis Siegel, June Foreman, Paul Wiggins, Joseph Spinelli, Harriet Katz, Samuel Phillip, Pat Ryan, Jerry Goldner, Ian Spear, Norton Blumberg, Julie Ross, Megan Kearney Bailey, Tevya Ben Freema Hinka, Miriam Siegel, Dan Zimmerman, Aaron Zirkman, Tyler Grad, Karen Levine, Joanne Tobin, Evelyn Silberg, Jonathan Glassman, Jean C. Krischer, Shari Ben Ishay, Renata Hirsch.
Does anyone have a name that you're thinking for healing?
George Jones.
And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, lady.
Please be seated. Before we continue with the concluding portion of our service, I was hoping Jillian would be here, but I know Remy and Michael, would you please come up? We have a little blessing for your parents' anniversary, for your grandparents' anniversary.
Becca's going to get her.
Excellent. And as many of you may know, Mark and Yvette are celebrating 50 years of marriage this month. And how amazing and beautiful and exciting is that? And it just didn't seem to be a service without them being blessed in some way for this amazing, wonderful love of theirs that they show to us all the time. So I was hoping that maybe we could just open the ark a tiny bit. Just a little bit so nobody has to stand. And you gather around your family. Mishaberak Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Raquel v'Leah. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers before us bless this bride and this groom under the canopy of life commitment 50 years onward. It's easy to fall in love, but it's much harder to stay in love with that same person for the rest of your life. Congratulations for 50 wonderful years of falling in love with each other. May you continue to be blessed in love and happiness. Throughout the ages, numerous people have searched but never found a love like the two of you share. Take a moment to reminisce in the happy memories you've created together. Like wine, marriage can be sweet or bitter, but for a couple like you, perfection comes in all flavors. The bond can take various forms depending on storms or calm. Sometimes it's a knot, sometimes a fragile cord. Regardless, I hope your lives overflow with happiness. O Creator of humankind, whose nature is love, look with favor upon this man and woman who made their vows before you. We are so grateful for the providence that led them here and the beautiful souls of Jillian and Michael, Remy and Sylvie, and all those touched by their love today. Grant that this continues to be the most sacred union and the blending and growing of hearts and spirits and purposes. May you be blessed with decades upon decades of joy still to come, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you so much, Andy. Mark always asks me what I want for my anniversary, and I always say, read a little Torah with me. It keeps you going, you know? So we're going to stand now for Elenu. And Gloria and Michael Rosen, can you help us? Gloria. I asked Michael Rosen. Gloria. No, Michael Rosen. You're Michael Rosen. Come on, it's okay. Elena, we open the ark for Elena. We open the ark for Elena.
586.
We're on page 586.
586. Thank you.
You ready? Yeah.
Aleinu l'shabbat l'adon hakol, l'tikva yotzei b'reshit, shelo asan k'goyei ha'aretzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adamah, shelo sam kelkinu kohen, v'gohor aleinu k'kol hamonah, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malkei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, ahoya Adonai, lemelech al kol ha'aretz, hayom hahu, hayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated for a moment. With our souls awake and our minds now turned to those we have loved and lost, allow me to share a beautiful poem by Marcia Falk, written for the month of Elul, from her book entitled Between the Days. And this poem is entitled Nothing. Nothing. You began as nothing and you will end as nothing, and in between, everything and nothing. In between joy and sorrow, beauty and decay, everything yours to partake, yours to bear, yours to see, to know, to give birth to, and then to let go. None of it is yours to keep. Not even you are yours to have. You belong to a wholeness so great you cannot even conceive of it. No, it is not a belonging. Nothing owns you. You are simply part of it. Those we loved are simply part of it. We came out of it and will return to it. You do not ever leave it. They are a part of it forever. This is our moment to be alive and to remember. Please join me on page 597.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Catherine Magel Prelinger, Philip Leibowitz, Arthur Sandler, Roberta Letterman, Jeanette Potash, Adele Zimmerman, Fred Holden, Alice Summer, Judith Rubin, Max Abrams, David Steinberg, Richard Moskowitz, Goldie Paul, Jeanette Cohn, Oliver Tribeck, Leonard Luria, Rita Bivona, Rosa Bateri, Bessie Goldswag, Yuri Nachmanson, Steve Weissman, Stephen Gottdiener, Greta Redlich, Dr. Marion K. Colley, Maurice Serling, Arlene Fine, Robert Godsfeld, Milford M. Snyder, Sarah Melnick, Berthold Rosenberg, David Tillman, the father of son and daughter-in-law Eric Tillman and Tracy Kambara, daughter and son-in-law Laura Tillman and John Yosfeda, ex-husband of Susan Cronin Tillman, son-in-law of Fred Cronin, brother of Ross Tillman and brother-in-law of Marta Pierpont, brother-in-law of David Cronin and his wife Kessler, brother-in-law of Sarah Cronin and partner Simon Lucas. If anybody has any names to add, please do so. Please join me on page 598.
Please rise if you can.
Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei rabba, v'yoma divra hirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei t'kol beit Yisrael, b'agalav yizman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach, v'yolam le'omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitla'ah v'yitrama v'yitnaseh. V'yithadah v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei kedusha b'richu. Leila min kol bechata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damira v'yama v'yimru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama, hu ya'aseh shalom
Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Yimru amen. Zichrona livracha. May their memories be for blessing.
Amen.
Amen.
You may have a seat. There are no announcements other than we're going to have cake and wine. And I want to thank Andy for years and years, and especially this year, for joining us and for leading us. And your voice is always a blessing. Steve, thank you so much, not just for tonight, but for the entire summer and everything you do throughout the year. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
To my family, thank you for your support. Girls, we love the sign language. Remy, you just rocked that shofar. Thank you so much. Thank you, Viv, for joining us. And honey, thank you so much. Anybody? Oh, and
Gloria.
Gloria, you're right, and Gloria.
And Greta and Sylvia.
And Greta and
with a-
Silva, okay, okay. So with that, are we going to do the priestly blessing?
We're
Did we
we're
agree?
just going to do the closing song.
Just the closing
Yeah.
song? You got it.
So
Thank you, Andy, for doing this closing song.
Thank you.
our closing song this evening is on page 656 to the tune of Leonard McCartney's Let It Be. We'll be singing Lugi. Please rise. Od yesh mi fras levan ba'ofek mulanan shachar kaved kol shenevakesh lo yihi ve'em b'chalanot ha'erev onerot lehagroed kol shenevakesh lo yihi and when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.